Hey, this is Angela Brooks from angelabrook.com, and I am sitting here writing a blog post. Actually, it's going to be going out to my email list. It's going to go over to LinkedIn. It's going on my blog. And I was just kind of having a flashback. I don't know how long you have personally been in the network marketing industry, or if you're brand new, doesn't matter. You've had your own experience. My very first network marketing event that I ever attended was 23 years ago. When I really started doing the timeline on that, I was like, 23 years? How did that go by so fast? And oh my goodness, the things that have changed since that happened. It was in a hotel meeting. I had gotten off 11 to 7 shift working at the hospital. I'd picked up my 2-year-old, probably napped maybe 2 hours that day. And I drove, like 30, 40 minutes away from my home to go to a hotel meeting. I don't even remember how I heard about it. I was just going to go. And so there was about 30, maybe 40 people in the room. A lot of them were buddies. They were kind of like what we call live plants, that people hype up the meeting with the new people coming in. I was very much the new person, and I must have had a halo on my head that said I was new. I had my 2-year-old in tow. I was sitting on the back row with a backpack full of toys, and I was a single mom. I was looking for the dream that everybody was hyping about from the front of the room. So I wanted to pay attention. I wanted to hear what was going on. How were these people making this money? Because I was really tired of asking my checkbook permission. I made a good income for myself, especially 23 years ago as a single mother. And, I had the health insurance. I had my own house. I had my car. But I still had to ask my checkbook permission to do anything extra. There was no vacation money in that little bitty check there. So I wanted to hear what the hype was about. I was all in. I was all ears. And then it happened. If you've ever been to any kind of network marketing event or any kind of event where there's people, the after session, look, my eye wants to twitch just thinking about this. Is kind of funny. But right after that training session, the networking began. Everybody got up from their chairs and was going around and mingling. And because I was new, I didn't know it at the time, they were all trying to sign me up. I was their prospect. I don't remember who invited me to the meeting. I don't remember if they were there. I'm sure they were. But the small talk, the small hypey talk, it makes my right eye twitch just thinking about it. The questions, what is it you do? Where do you live? How long have you been in business? They were exchanging business cards. Yes, back in the day when they exchanged business cards, there were no mobile phones whatsoever. Everybody immediately started doing the handshaking and the empty promises and referrals and making their rounds to all the people. And everybody kind of started becoming a puking sales promotional zombie that is weird. It's just weird to me. It's so weird. And half of them, I knew that they were blowing smoke. I knew they were over dramatizing what they personally were doing in business. It was just so painful. No one had a plan that they could explain. No one had a method, a blueprint. It was just all hype. And back then, it was who handed out the most cards, who followed up the most, which is still the thing, who follows up the most. That one-on-one thing is not my jam. And I knew at that moment, if that's the way I had to build a business, I was out. Because I'm like, holy shit balls, this is just not going to work for me. So I started looking for something to build my business. I signed up with that company, and I was with them 3-4 years maybe. Made about $15. went to one of their conventions on, I don't know, Love and a Prayer, I guess. I drove all the way out to Oklahoma. And it was more hype from the stage out there, and it was the same people up front that were making the money, and they were doing all the talk. Well, a lot of things, I've learned a lot of things since then. But one of them, one of the things that I knew for me is I had to find the lane that I was going to be in, that I needed to figure out an introverted, friendly way that was not hypey and gross, and it didn't require me to act out of character. That was very important because, I was working in psychiatric nursing. By the time I got off work, I didn't have any time for any more bullshit whatsoever. I was full to the max with that, so hype was not in my corner. So I found a way. It took me a while. It was a learning curve. I didn't have anybody leading or guiding. I was just kind of, Google was not a big thing either. So I didn't have a lot of people to learn from, but I just kept Googling, kept looking at the internet for as much as I could get out of it back then. And, one of the things that I do now is it works for an introvert. It works for an extrovert, an ambivert. One of the things that stands the test of time over social media's algorithm and all the changes to social media, and it focuses on me, and it's something that I have control over in my business, which a lot of people just kind of throw themselves out there and they have zero control, none. And the people who show up the most are the ones that people are going to find. I'm a blogger. I've been a blogger since 98 or 99, long time. And it was ugly. It was some ugly blogs back then. It was not pretty like it is today, but it worked. And it got in front of me. Now all I was doing was just sharing my story and letting people learn who I was. I just wanted off night shift. I didn't want to quit my job. I still liked what I did. Had insurance, retirement, all the things. I wasn't looking to quit my job. You shouldn't be looking to quit your job. But we quickly learned that social media can be very exhausting. But back then when we first got on social media, it was fun, checking in, saying I'm at such and such place, having dinner, woo. But you become an addict to your phone. And of course, the more fancy the phones get, the more addicted we have become. And some of it is useless time. And so doing the blog for me allowed me to stay in my lane, share my story, push it out to social media, push it out to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all the places. I was writing my story in a blog post, and then that was going into multiple different areas and adding a video to that blog post, which is now sitting on YouTube. So I can hit a blog, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So there's 6. And then I've got some other places that I also add some things to, so that I still can be human with a family and hobbies, and at the time a day job. Of course, I haven't worked a day job since 2014, but am I saying you need to be a blogger? No. But do you have to be a content marketer in order to work on social media? If you're not pushing out content, you're not going to be able to have you will have some success, but you're not going to have long-term success, because the more content that you put out there, the more the internet finds you, the more they send people in your direction. So I've got lots of nice things that I do now for my business that I didn't have back then. And if you're looking for a business, I'm looking for business partners that are willing to get into the trenches to learn, that's coachable. And if you just want to be a customer, that's absolutely perfection, because we love our customers as much as we do our builders. But I'm looking for people that I can share the blueprint of what we do and how to make this long term. You don't have to be a blogger, but you have to be a content marketer in order for people to find you. That's just a fact. And You know, we've got a system that teaches you how to get out there. We've got a system that shows you how to be uniquely you without being weird and spammy and hypey and blowing smoke. All of that you don't have to do in order to be a business. I want you to still be human. I want you to have fun. But there's things you got to put in place. Anyway, going to go finish my blog post. You'll be able to find this over on angelabrook.com. You're going to find this video here in the group over on YouTube. You're going to find it on LinkedIn. You're going to find it on all the cool places. And if you want to know how to do that, you know where to find me. See ya.